What is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be discussing the incredible news regarding console Fortnite that was announced yesterday. So at around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Fortnite competitive Twitter account tweeted, "Calling all agents, it's time to find your duos partner for the hashtag Fortnite Champion series," and then they attached a link to a full blog post. Now, first off, this is just great news for Fortnite in general because we haven't had a major all-platform competitive event since the Winter Royale. However, as I get into the details contained in the blog post, you'll see why this is absolutely earth-shattering news for console players specifically. So the blog post says, FNCS Chapter 2 Season 2 begins March 20th. Calling all agents, it's time to find your duos partner. The Fortnite Champion Series returns on March 20th and is open to eligible duos players who have each reached Champion League and Arena and enabled 2FA on their account. To warm up your skills, the action kicks off with a training simulation that runs from March 13th to March 15th. But here's where it gets really good, and pay attention if you're a console player. In this season of FNCS, there will be 2 tournament tracks, one for players on PC and one for players on console and mobile. Each track will have equal prizing and their own champions. Keep in mind, and this is mission critical, your duos partner needs to be in the same platform group. This means that PC players cannot partner with console and mobile players. During FNCS, each week's event will send the top scoring duos players per server region through to the season finals. They'll be joined by the highest ranked duos players on the overall series leaderboard across the entire season. Full official rules can be found within the additional intel page, and then finally, in addition to the new season, expect to hear more from us soon on our evolving 2020 competitive roadmap. I don't mean to get emotional here because at the end of the day it's just a video game, but I really feel like this is something that we've wanted for so long, and to see it finally come to fruition is just absolutely unreal. I'll never forget making a video almost 2 years ago exactly, before competitive Fortnite was really even a thing, and they announced that all input devices and platforms would compete against each other in every single competitive tournament. And I made a video about that single decision that happened so long ago, basically saying, well, not only is this bad for controller players, but it basically eliminates any chance of console players having any kind of success in competitive Fortnite. Fast forward about a year and a half later, and that was pretty much entirely true. A lot of PC on controller players had success at the highest level of competitive play, but pretty much no console players. However, that's when we got our first glimmer of hope with the Winter Royale. That tournament was so awesome for 2 different reasons. First off, it separated console players from PC players entirely, so you knew that every single player you ran into was either on Xbox or PS4, so basically a totally level playing field. The other reason, which was probably even bigger, was the fact that console actually had the same prize pool as PC. That part was totally unexpected, and it showcased that Epic was kinda starting to maneuver their strategy a bit to gear more towards console players. And I always thought that should have been a no-brainer decision from the beginning because there are way more console Fortnite players than PC Fortnite players. However, even after the Winter Royale was a massive success based on the amount of people who played and the amount of money given out, people were still thinking that this was probably just a one-off thing. The common line of thought was basically, alright, Fortnite's gonna throw console a bone every once in a while and let them win as much money as PC players, but then when something serious like FNCS rolls around, everything will go back to normal with PC players dominating and getting the lion's share of prize money. That post I just read off basically dunked on all the people that thought Epic would never give console an equal prize pool in a serious competitive event. And this is basically the final step that we'd been hoping for that creates a 100% legit and recognized console Fortnite scene. Console players that are incredible but currently have relatively small followings like Bizik, 60 FPS with a Dream, Apostle, Gucci Brows, and so many more, those guys are finally going to get a chance to really make a name for themselves and not only be recognized by the competitive console Fortnite community, but really the entire competitive community in general. Sadly, I have a very strong suspicion that over the next few weeks, you're going to see a lot of PC players that are strongly against console getting the same prize pool, and in my opinion, the best way to counter those players and kind of prove them wrong isn't to argue with them or say mean stuff to them. You want to play the event and watch other console players play the event to prove that console Fortnite deserves to be its own thing. So now that I went on that little tirade of why this is so unbelievably awesome for all PS4 and Xbox players, let's actually dive into the specifics of this duo's FNCS. Alright, so the first thing I want to emphasize in case you missed it when I read the initial post is that according to Epic, you actually need to have reached Champions Division to compete in this event, which in case you don't know means you need to have over 6,000 points in Arena mode. The official tournament begins on March 20th, so you guys still have a decent amount of time, and I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be grinding Arena this next week or so. So the way that the scoring and advancement system works for this duo's FNCS is probably similar to what you've seen in other top online tournaments. Basically, it's multiple different rounds on each weekend. So round 1 will be open to all players that are in Champions and have a duo. Each time you'll be able to play up to 10 games in a 3-hour time period, and then at the end of round 1, the top 1,000 duos advance to round 2 in EU, NA East, NA West, and Brazil. However, for the other regions, it's only the top 400 duos. Then in round 2, there will be another 3-hour or 10-game session in which the top 50 teams in each region advances to round 3. And then at the end of round 3, the top 20 duos from EU, NA East, NA West, and Brazil guarantee their spot in Stage 2, while it's only the top 10 duos from all the other regions. Since there's 4 weeks, that qualification system right there will make up 80 out of 200 or 40 out of 100 duos in Stage 2 depending on the region. The rest of those spots will be given out to the most consistent non-qualifying teams via series points. The description they give for that is, series points are awarded to all teams regardless of qualification status at the conclusion of each week's round 3 window. For clarity, teams will only be awarded series points for actual participation in a given round. By way of example only, if a team reaches round 3 but fails to Q4 or otherwise misses all matches during a round 3 session, then that team will only be awarded series points for those matches it participated in through round 2. And here's the full list of series point values. So a first place finish in any round will give you 500 points, and then it goes all the way down to top 10,000, which will give you 16. So more teams will actually qualify via this series point system than actually being top 20 in any given week, which I think is really cool. Then once the final 200 or 100 teams depending on the region make it to Stage 2, it'll be whittled down one more time to the top 50 duos who will advance into the grand finals. Definitely a pretty confusing system, as FNCS usually is, but I think once the event actually rolls around, it'll be a lot easier to understand. So now that you hopefully somewhat understand the qualification format, let's get into the prize pool details. So I'm only going to show Europe and NA East here since they're the biggest, but if you want to see your region specifically, I'll make sure to link the full rules page in the description below. So this right here is the weekly prizes for the teams that make it to round 3 of Stage 1. First place on EU is $5,000, and it goes all the way down to $400 for top 50. And on NA East, it's $4.5K for first, but this time only the top 25 duos get money, and it goes down to $400 also. And finally, here are the one-time prizes for the teams that make it to Stage 2 and maybe the grand finals. First on Europe is a whopping 70,000, and even if you place last, which is 200, you still get a solid amount of money at 1.8K. For NA East, first is considerably lower at 44,000, but at least even last place still gets rewarded, although it's only 1120 compared to the 1800 of EU. And just to reiterate one more time, this is the same exact prize pool for both PC and console plus mobile. It's exactly the same in every single way, which again is incredible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on console getting their own FNCS with the same exact prize pool as PC? I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this one because it's so monumental in the history of competitive Fortnite. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.